Hey y'all, welcome back. So, my foot was hurting the other day. I got some memory foam shoes, so soft and comfy, it's like stepping on foot-long marshmallows. When they're brand new, anyway. After a few weeks, they lost their softness, and I realized all memory foam does was remember the nasty smell of my feet. My shoes have a really good memory. Speaking of smells, after several years of marriage, my wife finally confessed something. She said I fart in my sleep. I looked at her straight in the eyes and said, "So that explains my weird dreams." If you know me, I've mentioned before I'm easily distracted at church, right? There's always some lady messing around in her purse for like 10 minutes for a piece of gum. But that's when it's finally quiet. But then I realized I totally missed the whole point of the sermon. I tried to get back into the vibe of the preaching, but at this point, I don't know if the pastor's talking about me or Judas. I really can't tell. That's when I'm like, what's that smell? The lady who spent half the sermon digging through her purse is now lotioning up. As she was lathering up her hands, I'm thinking, okay, I get it, dry skin. But no, she starts with what must have been a gallon of lotion from that tube because she's putting it all up and down her arms, legs, and ankles. Meanwhile, her husband, still as a frozen oak tree, I mean solid, like he was trying to balance her out so that between the two of them, there's only an average amount of fidgeting. Next thing I know, we're standing up and singing a worship song. But how can I worship when I'm bothered I missed half the sermon and it smells like rosehip hibiscus eucalyptus in here? So I thought, maybe God is trying to teach me something supernatural here, like maybe the lotion represents or the smell symbolizes. No, I got nothing. What's the big fuss these days about mascots? Why are people so overly sensitive about mascots? My high school mascot was the Redskins. I loved it. Made me feel stronger than it really was, like a warrior when I was out on that football field playing the trumpet in the marching band. We have 3 kids. It's cool because as a parent, when the kids are little, you get to say things that would never come out of your mouth unless you have little kids. Like, whose pair of underwear is this behind the fridge? Why is your alarm clock in the hamper? No, don't floss your toes. Well, I've had to say these things to my kids. Maybe yours are normal. Now our kids are teenagers. 3 of them in the house. 3 teenagers in our house. It's painful. Prayers and donations are accepted. It's bizarre because I can never figure out which one of the rooms the smell is coming from. And the same night as every week is trash night, yet not one of them seems to remember that. So my oldest boy who plays football is a beast. I was like, "Hey son, I heard you can squat more than anyone else on the team." He smiled humbly and gave me a yeah. I said, "Good, I got a bad back. You take out the garbage." So as it turns out, my boy's definition of taking out the garbage is apparently slightly different from mine. When I said take out the garbage, I meant the night before. Not sprinting down the road at 7 a.m. in the snow, barefoot, with no shirt on, trying to throw 3 bags of loose garbage in the back of a moving truck. So you have to be sneaky when you're a parent. You have to outsmart your teens. So I sneak up on them. I snuck up on my teens one day and overheard them making fun of me. I guess that's what every teenager does. They were making fun of me by quoting everything I say repeatedly. They even had my monotone voice right. "Someone needs to take out the garbage. Who left the door unlocked? We don't need the porch light on when it's light outside. Have you been eating in my car? It's like you kids pour lots of crumbs in the crevices of my leather seats. That's a cup holder, not a trash can. Seatbelts prevent your face from breaking my windshield. You have to talk louder than ringing in my ears." Suddenly I realized, in all those teenage years, they actually were listening. They still don't know how to follow through or obey, but at least I know they heard me. My buddy asked me to help him move. I love it. It forces me to exercise once a decade. So I head over to his house one early Saturday morning, and of course it's July, so it's already 95 degrees at 6 a.m., and he's telling me the whole plan while I'm soaked in a gallon of my own sweat. He said a bunch of things I can't remember because all I remember is the one bad word he said. He said the word elliptical. Now, if someone asks you to help them move and they say elliptical, do yourself a favor, disown your friend and run. Have you ever tried to move an elliptical? nothing good can happen when you move it. Trying to get an elliptical into a moving truck is like trying to get a big demon in a little cage. Of course, my buddy's house doesn't have a straight staircase either. It's one where from the top you go down 2 steps and then turn and then go down like 1,400 more. Heavy as a piano, there's no way to grab it because every part moves. No matter who ends up on which end, you both know the other end has to be better. You got the one heavy wheel end, the other end with the moving arms, and it's as if that wasn't enough. In the middle, there are the footrests that you pedal like a bike, right? So we're lifting this thing. He was trying to be nice, or so I thought. He gets the heavy base end with a big spinny wheel to go down the steps first. But that means he gave me the end with the 2 moving arms. You know what that means. Friendship about to end quickly. Before we even got to the steps, one of the moving arms punched me in the chin. I don't even know which arm did it. As we go down the steps, walls are getting scraped on the way down, shins are bleeding, we're losing fingers, friendships are deteriorating, and that was just the first 2 steps. We still had to turn the corner and go down the descent of doom. It should always be in the contract. Realtors should be trained to always say, the elliptical stays with the house. It will save a lot of friendships and ER visits. So if your buddy asks help in moving, before you agree to it, ask the elliptical question first. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience.